1999 to 2015 left the party in a pole position where Nigerians could breathe. Today, the neck is on Nigerian people. They can no longer breathe. They can't manage, they can't churn out normal life anymore. Things are extremely difficult that Nigerians are finding it difficult to even survive on a daily basis. Except you want to submit yourself to elitist deceit or intellectual dishonesty. Otherwise, the truth is very clear for everybody to see. So it's not just about the party. While I'm canvassing for PDP, I'm canvassing for PDP with a proviso that you must provide a party with the requisite brand of candidates that can win elections and support Nigerian people if you are to write the credentials of this country.
You sound like a pro-Nigeria. Now, I'm going to ask this a very deliberate question because, you know, like you said, the candidate for the Labour Party for the last election was a former PDP member. It seems as if, from the speculations of people, that when either PDP or the ruling party wants to make their selection for who would be their flag bearer, I mean, who would chairman, they will present as a candidate, they go for someone who could be, I don't want to use the word corrupt, who they could manipulate, who isn't for the people, but for the party. So most times it appears that we have candidates who are just pro-party, not pro-Nigerians. And at the end of the day, you have them trying to feed the pockets of their godfathers, of the ones who re-elected them, of the ones who supported them, instead of serving the country or the state or the nation. You know, so how do you analyze that, sir?
Well, what we share in common is the vision that we want a good country. We want to recover our country. We want a country where the poor people can mingle with the rich, where my children can be in school with the children of the big men or even the poorer people, where the poorer majority can breathe again. That's what we share in common. But the truth is that you also have to look at your history. You can't do this without looking at your history. I've told you previously that we have had a PDP run the show in the country. And they brought in people like Okonjo Iweala and other persons internationally from the diaspora to do something here, to influence what we are doing at home. And you can see where they left the economy. And today, the country is living on borrowing. So it's not just about the party like I said before. It's about characters that will define the terrain of politics in the country. And if PDP also as a party fails to get it right, PDP will qualify. So it's a body on the shoulders of the party to find leaders within the rank and file of the party that will go for the best candidates for these parties in a transparent way. Marketable candidates that will ask for vote and Nigerian people will vote for them. If you do it dispassionately, if you do it without recourse to pecuniary interest, if you do it without bringing in ethnic profiling or identity politics or corrupt practices or other chauvinistic tendencies, you are going to find quality personnel that can administer justice in this country, bring leadership to the doorsteps of ordinary people, and Nigerians will begin to believe again. Yeah. Can you imagine the number of persons leaving the shores of this country? Go to embassies and see what is happening and how much Nigerians are being unfairly treated abroad. This we can change.
Barrister, I hear you, and you keep reiterating the importance of bringing in credible people, bringing in people that we can trust by, the political parties. As much as it really sounds good on paper, I don't know if you can give us a brief rundown of some kind of a framework, by the PDP to ensure that credible, transparent leaders are eventually brought in. Because you keep saying, yes, it's important we bring in credible leaders, but when push comes to shove, yeah. What are the, stepwise framework that the PDP is putting or has put in place to ensure that these credible, leaders are brought into, the system?
Well, the answer is very simple. You don't need to romanticize with words here to find our solution. The solution lies in the credibility of the party's congresses to come.
Could you expound on that?
Yes. If the party allows transparency in their congresses and make sure that there are no encumbrances or undue interferences in the build-up to those congresses, and we get the right persons to manage the party, you know, it will give us a platform to present the kind of leadership that Nigerians are yearning for.
Okay, so I'm asking, if you find someone, I mean you as a person, find someone who isn't ready to grease the palm of the party, but is ready to serve. Because for me, all these places of leadership, all these places of positions are places of leadership, and a leader is meant to be a servant. So if you find someone who is ready to serve, but who isn't ready to grease your palm, I mean you, sir, or the palms of every other person, would you give the person your ticket?
Well, let me answer you this way. Of course, we have recalled the fact, we have reiterated the fact that Nigeria is in distress. It's either we get it right or never now. So because of the pressure, the weight of pressure on leadership today, and those involved within the political class, I think there is, you know, a serious question mark on the choices we have made in the past. So we need to get it right now. Having said that, you did make a comment about politicians. So you grapple with the definition of a politician.
Yes.
So, but on the lighter note, I will tell you that a politician is a conflicted individual with split personalities. On one side, he is capable of provoking productivities, good results, excellent government administration, or his vision of leadership with candor, dexterity, and, you know, brilliance. On the other side, he can snowball into an ethnic bigot, and of course, dismantle the remaining good things that we find in this country.
Wow.
So we are looking at how to bring persons that will tilt towards the poorer majority, that will tilt towards the Nigerian people, that will tilt towards rejuvenating the society and bringing back the country to where it used to be before we move forward.
All right.
So that's what it is. We don't have any other choice than to do the right thing now. So there's an intense pressure even on PDP, not just the ruling party, to get it right so that it will be a credible alternative and so that we can win our elections in the country. It's not about bringing money, because you did ask a direct question whether if somebody doesn't come with money. You have, if you're an umpire, you have to lead by examples. And if you put pecuniary interest forward, you have failed on arrival. So the idea of bringing money or not bringing money will solve problems instantaneously, but the major, in fact, you can only win the battle, but you lose the war. The war is how to keep on feeding your family, sustaining your family, and restoring the dignity of this nation, and living in a country where even your neighbors will now be your enemies. Because we can't continue, like I said, we are living in a country where extremities of poverty live side by side with extremities of wealth. And at a point, there will be implosion. So it's a serious matter beyond what we have conceived this morning. I wanted to see it from a broader perspective.
So, okay, Barrister, just a minute. Let's backtrack a little bit and talk succession plans. Because you find out in most states in Nigeria where the governor is leaving and brings in someone that's probably coached to take over from him. Now, I want you to take a broad look at our succession plans in Nigeria. How foolproof is it? Is it working out for democracy and politics generally? What are the things that we need to do to galvanize efforts to ensure that whoever that is succeeding, whomever, will run with the vision, you know, of the state?
Okay, the first instance, I think there are certain indicators we have to look at. There are basic things we must have to do if we are to get it right in this country, in terms of leadership recruitment process and leadership recruitment ideology. First, how independent is your independent national Electoral Commission. So we need to look at that particular institution very well and bring back our institutions to be very strong and not having stronger individuals beyond the strength of the institutions. So the National Assembly needs to do something to give a better independence, a lifeline to the National Independent Electoral Commission. Otherwise, we reduce it to National Electoral Commission. Remove that word independent.
Yeah.
That's one, both at the federal and at the state level. Secondly, we need to ethnicize our politics. We need to sanitize our politics. We need to kill that instinct of religious bigotry and ethnic chauvinism that dominated the scene. Instead of going for quality, competence, we go for our own people.
Now leaves us with the question, who will bail the cat?
So we need the citizens. And the strongest office, as far as politics is concerned in Nigeria, is the office of the citizen. We need to recourse to that sense of nationalism and patriotism that should defeat the instinct of sectional politics. That's number one. Secondly, like I said, it is time to bring in even women in our politics. There should be a deliberate policy of inclusion of women. The men that have done so well. It is time to bring in more women. If you look at some of other countries in this, in the world, you find that women have become presidents even. So there's a sense in which I feel the inclusion of more women will even help in this.
Just to chip in a bit, to just expand that, do you think a woman would do well as a president of Nigeria?
I have no doubt.
Given the history of some of the female politicians that we've had in Nigeria.
Let me go back to Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala.
Yeah. Okay.
The position she has today towers above a governor of a state, sometimes even a president of a country, is able to, distinguish herself. She has that innate ability to manage both resources and personnel. So there are many other Ngozi Okonjo-Iwealas in this country that can also contribute. So we need to find a system that ameliorates the pains, the suffering, deliberate amelioration of the pains of Nigerian people. We need to go back to agriculture, for instance. But we can't do that without having security. So we are running a country where insecurity has succeeded in decimating the trust we have in the country as a whole.
Okay.
So under PDP, was it this to this extent? That's the question.
Okay, so I'll take a bit of something that seems like a deviation, but it's not, because it's still under PDP. Yes. Now Wike happened to be a former PDP member. That's the FCT minister, right? And it seems like he still has clout within the PDP circle. Is it that he's a force that PDP can't micromanage successfully and exit? Okay, like you said, you're no longer a member. Why does it seem like he still has a share in PDP or a stake in PDP? Why can't he be clamped?
Well, he hasn't said that he's not a member of the party. Let me correct that particular perception.
Okay. He hasn't?
Yes, he hasn't declared that he's not a member of the party.
Okay.
But the question is, as a member of the party, are you supposed to be in the cabinet of the opponent? Okay. Is the party supposed to loan the party's stalwart to the party's opponent for the sake of the Nigerian people?
Okay.
These are questions on the table of the national leadership of the party to take. Again, they must have the political will to punish offenders when, if need be. It is an aberration for a party man to be in one party and supporting a candidate of the other. And the party has an internal means of punishing such, people with dissent.
But wouldn't somebody say he is just being a citizen of Nigeria, supporting the government of Nigeria?
It's a debatable matter, like I told you. But I know that if you are supporting the candidate other than the candidate of the party, it's an anti-party.
Yes, Barrister, let me quickly take you back. I really do want to still take you back to inter-party squabbles. So I want to know, because a case in mind that just came to my mind now was that of Chris Ngige and Chris Uba in Anambra State. There was a falling out. I guess there was this power tussle. I don't have the details now, but there are usually falling outs based on power tussles or different ideologies, whatever it is. So my question is, these intra-party clashes that could be for whatever reason, are they necessary evils? Or they are a means to a logical end? Or let me put it this way, do we need intra-party squabbles to move our politics forward in Nigeria? How has it helped us? And how do you think it will help us going forward?
Well, nobody prays for skirmishes. Nobody would wish for animosity. Nobody wishes for bickering. And no party, after all, will deliberately invite, disorderliness to its rank and file. But the truth is that whenever you have 2 or 3 human beings jostling for positions, even when they are not jostling for positions, you begin to see differences in characters. Your mien may differ from the other person's demeanor. And with that situation, you may have intolerable characters emanating from here or there. But so what you do in leadership of the party is that you understand that it's a state of normality. You expect that there will be conflicts. But what is important, do you have a mechanism of resolving conflicts? And when such conflicts come, be bold enough and be courageous enough with the will to say this is the right thing and this is the wrong thing. And there's a sharp contrast between keeping peace and making peace. When you keep peace, you only make pronouncements. But when you keep peace, you go to the root of the matter to solve the problem so that the minds will be settled and the pains will ameliorate. So it is just very normal. So in parties, when such issues come up, like when I was secretary of PDP in ENUGU, we had several issues, state issues.
Can you just pick one specifically and expand on that?
Yes, we had the situation where there was an interest from the then Senate Vice President, Senator Ike Nkweremadu, and the then Governor Sullivan Chime. And we are not afraid to take bold decisions in the interest of the party. The leadership of the party must be independent-minded, even if the money is coming from the government.
Okay, now being someone that is in somewhat government, or even if you're addressing it from a party angle, you mentioned something about INEC being able to be really independent. Now, as a Nigerian and as a bit of an analyst, I want to borrow you now as an analyst. What can be done? What should INEC do to be independent? What should they do to be independent?
Well, I think we need to review the appointment of INEC chairman or the commissioners within INEC. If you can create an independent way of emergence, an independent means of emergence of the chairman of INEC or the commissioners, that would be very, very important. If we can have a cycle of producing, such chairmen or commissioners without having to nominate, that would be very important. Because if you are the leader in the ruling party and you are nominating, well, it will come with a measure of suspicion. There is a sense in which I feel that sectionalism, sentimentality, fervor, and biases may dominate your mind in the course of doing that. So that's on one side. 2, financing the INEC. There must be a distinctive way of financing the INEC without direct government influence.
So
from the national to the state levels,
okay,
they should be completely independent financially too.
And that's major independence. If you're independent financially.
So, because I want to ask now, this is Steve Aurora. Come 2027, are you looking at being an aspirant? Exclusivity now.
Well, when I was in secondary school, my government teacher, Mr. Enem, he used to say that future holds 10 lessons. So it behoves on God to make the right decisions. And as I'm looking at the terrain, you know, we'll take our own decisions. We pray that those decisions will fall in tandem with the wishes of the Almighty God. So it's too early for anybody to begin to, you know, make pronouncements, imagination.
You said something about, you kept saying, when you made reference to PDP, you said that what PDP should do, what they should do, what should be done. Now, straight to the point, are there measures in place as it stands now that PDP has done to make sure that come 2027, who they are giving us is someone who is credible, who is pro-Nigeria, who is a servant, not a dictator, not an oppressor, not someone who just wants to grease the palm of settle godfather, settle politicians, and just relax and do what they want to do?
Well, I think I'll be recycling tourism to answer your question, because I did allude to several points that should have taken this question to clearance. Because I did say, first, to present a quality candidate, there must be quality congresses that will find leaders that will man the primaries of the party. Out of the primaries, we now have candidates that will run for the party. Those candidates that are running for elections for the party are going to carry the burden of leadership on their shoulders in the event the party wins. Because the party, to arrest them, will drop out. And individual character, perception, ideology, philosophy may begin to come into the fray. So it is not a position to be thrown away.
Okay.
That's why, from the blast of the whistle, we are concerned, we are worried, we are interested in the leadership recruitment ideology and leadership recruitment process, which begins from the party politics in the congresses. So, because if you bring wolves and crooked people only interested in pecuniary interest to be leaders of the party, they are going to mismanage the primaries of the party.
So, in line with that,
and those who flaunt only money as what they can offer will emerge as candidates of the party with their dubious intent, you know, to loot the treasure of the state.
So, just following up with that, is PDP looking up to a merger with other parties, any other party? Bigger party, smaller party? Are they looking at a merger between PDP and any other party?
Well, nothing can be foreclosed. I don't think anything can be foreclosed. Anything that will bring PDP back to power with an intent to genuinely govern the people for the public good will be acceptable. And having said that, it may be very difficult for that name PDP to be dropped. So you can have mergers with people coming in to join the PDP and retaining the name of PDP but still being part of the cake.
Great, great. So, Barrister, I have these thoughts in my head, still trying to take you back to the skirmishes and the confrontations, intra-party clashes. Do you think, yes, we understand the general mandate of the INEC, but do you think, or does INEC have jurisdiction to wade into intra-party conflicts, assuming all other ways to quell such confrontations fails? Can INEC, do they have any constitutional jurisdiction to wade into a particular party and quell whatever confrontations that may arise?
Well, on the face value, I would say no. But indeed, the INEC is used as a watchdog within the parties. So somehow they're part of the problem solving. Take, for instance, you can't conduct your congresses that is a very personal thing for the party without the supervision of the INEC. You cannot do your primaries, even when it's an internal party issue, without the supervision of the INEC. So if INEC comes as a watchdog, it behoves on you to be very transparent, to come with all standards of rectitude and probity to ensure that the right thing is done. Otherwise, of course, they will raise the red flag.
I think on a final note, because I want us to use maybe wrap up with this. You mentioned that even if your PDP could be open to a measure, right? And but you also mentioned something, retaining the name PDP. So is it not better? Okay, because there is this, how do I put it? Doesn't it seem like pouring a new wine in an old wineskin? Is it not better for a complete breakout so that the beauty, because people, there is always beauty in every ashes. So the beauties in the ashes could stand out where they are, and the ashes could be where they are. Must there be this mixing of new wine in an old wineskin? Would it taste the same?
Well, everything is possible on the table. That's why I say all cards should be on the table. But you don't have to embark on a self-defeatist adventurism. PDP is the largest party in Africa. In terms of, the effect that they've enjoyed in the past. And today, the cost of things in the market reminds every woman who wants to cook that in the time of PDP, it was not like this. Those who can no longer access their farm because of terrorism, banditry, and all manner of kidnapping, now remember, under PDP, it was not like that. So PDP opens the door in terms of mantra. It has become a mantra. So beyond the facets of any other thing you can achieve by measure, you cannot go into self-inflicted problems. When you relegate the name that paves the way, the name that actually contradicts what you have today, on paper, at least. So PDP is a constant reminder that Nigeria was better and could still be better tomorrow.
Thank you
Great.
Thank you so much,
Thank you, sir.
Barrister Steve Aurora. I got it correctly. It's been a nice time sharing this moment with you, and I hope we take out something from here, and it's not just be mere promises or mere talks. It's what is obtainable, and what you're going to offer us is what is real. It's been nice having you, and I believe this talk, it doesn't end here. We'll still have an extended talk later, maybe beyond now, in another program, another day. Thank you so much for being here on New Day.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you, Barrister.
Thank you very much.
And on that note, we close. It's been, I say it again, it's been a nice time spending this time with us on this segment, yes. But remember, don't go nowhere. We'll just take a short break. We'll be right back. There is sports still reloading. There is something that Spain did to Germany yesterday. We can't understand. I actually wanted to give it to Cruz because he's retiring, man. They should actually cut him some slack and let him just take this trophy to his name. But it didn't happen. So when we come back, we'll give you more on sports. Go away. Welcome back. It's New Day on Signature TV, and it's been an amazing time with us. We've been having, right now we're on the segment of sports, and we have an interesting person from an interesting place talking about the people who won the MPFL Cup, recent Nigeria Premier Football League Cup Rangers. Chidera Pius Onowu, but he's fondly called Onowu. And like always, when you tell him Chidera, he said, call me Onowu. I said, okay, that's fine. His name is Onowu Chidera. It's nice to have you.
Thank you. Welcome, Chidera.
He used to be with the Rangers feeder team called Rangers Feeders, and they've been doing great, I believe. Now, let's talk Rangers.
Yeah.
And how has it been, merging Rangers feeder team and the real main Rangers? What's the disparity?
First of all, I would want to thank the governor, Barrister Bitando Bisimba, for appointing this our general manager, Barrister Mobiazako. So he's a man who understands football from the grassroots to the professional level. Understand? But when we are playing, when we are the Rangers feeders, we didn't have this opportunity that the feeders are having now. Just 3 days ago, 2 Rangers feeder players were assigned to the main team. And this happened last season also. The Macero you are hearing today, that's the one that went to Kenneth Iwogo that went to national team, was the product of Rangers feeder team, which was promoted, you understand?
And now you hear him playing in national.
Exactly, and by grace of God, who knows, he might be traveling to Europe, you understand? So we are so happy to have Barrister Mobiazako, you understand, as the general manager of Rangers. Because even in Europe, you see, like for example, Chelsea, for instance, you see the 80% of Chelsea squad now are the feeder team product.
Wow. Yes,
yes. So this is exactly what
like
we want. Exactly. You see Rez James, you see Carragher, you understand? So many of them. So this is what we want. We want to see in our career.
Okay. No, you speak with so much verve and so much passion for this game, really. It leaves me curious. Can you just share your journey? How did this come about for you? What inspired your journey into the world of football, sports, and then Rangers feeders, briefly?
Okay, this is the game we want to all die for. You understand, football is a game of passion. If you are not passionate about football, just leave it. It's not for you. Football is not politics. You understand? It's what you go with passion. So, growing up in the city of ENUGU State, and I just see myself love football. Then we started from Don Test Academy. You understand? Then we moved to Star Plus FC. Then from there, we went to Rangers feeder team. And we are invited to the main team then. That was in 2018-19. So, but I think because of negotiation of future sale, percentage and all that, so unfortunately we couldn't sign Chinemerem Ugweze, the one that is now playing currently for Rangers.
I think they are third captain.
They are third captain, exactly. Yes. So Chiku Chikwado is now in Croatia, and Prince Odo is now in Morocco, and they were Ifebuchi and Weke. So, but unfortunately, we couldn't move to the main team then. So, because of what? Negotiation, you understand? So, it's a game we love so much. So, we now went back to the feeder team as well. So, after then, I went to Ramri United. We went for NRO, that is Division 3. So, to Ungobara, it was zone by zone.
And Ramri is where?
Is here in Enugu too.
Okay.
So then I was the second top scorer of that NRO. So, we came back, and currently I'm now with Coast United.
Okay.
But working as PA to Amobiazako, because he's a man who I believe so much, you understand? And he also knows that I know this game and I'm so passionate about it. I just want to see the youth of Enugu State and, progress in football.
Okay, so I was about to ask you the challenges of the feeder team. And before I get to that, you mentioned something. You said you're playing with Coal City
Yeah.
FC,
Yeah.
and you're also working. So how do you combine that? For me, I thought if you're a footballer, if you're a player, it's a full-time work, because most times, you know, you find them, they train in the morning. You guys train in the morning, and you might have matches sometime midday, you know, by 12 or so, and then you come back again to train. So how do you balance it? It's because it's either you're training, or you're playing a match.
Amobi sees me as a younger brother.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
So I know when I mentioned PA, it's just I might say I work when I'm free. You
Okay.
understand? When I'm less busy. You know, you see me with Abarista Amobi, it's just like me helping my brother, my elder brother.
Okay.
You understand? So it's just more like that.
It's not like you're failing in
No,
your
no,
capacity as a
no.
player for FC.
No, no.
Now, feeder team,
Yeah.
Rangers feeder team, what has been the challenges of Rangers feeder team?
First of all, I think the whole attention and focus and energy, strength is being given to the main team. You
How so? Why would you think that?
Yeah, I have been there before.
Yeah.
No good accommodation.
Okay.
I think you have to go to the sports council and see where those guys are staying.
Okay. So
and I believe that Amobi Ezeaku is working.
So,
You understand? You know, he's just 9 months at the office.
okay.
So he cannot fix the whole everything at a time. It's one step at a time. So when we are in Rangers with that team, we don't have a good accommodation, no feeding, no payment. You understand? So I think they need to look into the feeder team, because the future of the main team is the feeder team, and this is how it's been in abroad. So I think the management need to look into the feeder team. You understand?
Yeah.
Just like the way they do to the main team.
Okay, trying to relate it with Manchester United, because apart from Chelsea, that has Cole Palmer and Gallagher and all that came up from their feeder team. Manchester United, you had a guy like Kobe Mainoo, and what's the other boy's name? So
Rashford and
yes, and they all grew from their feeder team. And when we mean feeder team, it means the junior team to the main team.
Yeah, sure.
Are there measures being put in place, or is there something? Because I heard you say Amobi is working, that's the general manager, is working something out so that to make it comfortable for the feeder team. Are there measures being put in place? What are their trainings like? Do they train like the normal? Because someone might say they're not faced with the amount of trouble that the main team is faced with, so they shouldn't be given that much attention. Are there things that, how are their schedules like? Do they train like the main team do train? Do they play matches like the main teams play matches?
Like I said, Amobi is trying to fix the feeder team. First of all, you have to start from appointing a technical crew. You understand? A qualified technical crew for the feeder team, from the coach, assistant coach, getting them a psychologist, and the complete technical crew. So from there, appointing a qualified coach who understands. The feeder team is just more like the grassroots. Mm-hmm. You understand? So who understand the grassroots, how the grassroots system works. You understand? They do train. Yeah, they train, I think, 5 times a week. But the main team trains like morning and evening, but the feeder team just train once a day. So they do train.
So, oh no. You've been exhaustive about the challenges, and I quite feel your passion from where I'm sitting. But my question to you now will be, what has really worked since Mr. Amobi, took over the reins? Because there has to be something, 1 thing, 2, 3, that is working, amongst, the plethora of challenges. What are the things that are working that could tell a young aspiring footballer that wants to join the feeder team to say, hey, there's light at the end of the tunnel? So what are the things that are actually working currently based off of Mr. Amobi, taking the reins of leadership?
Okay, first of all, Rangers International is an ancestral club. You understand?
What does that mean, please? Explain
Yes,
what that
I'm
means.
coming. Rangers International is kind of one you say that is an inheritance. Something like is a club that we inherited from our forefathers. You understand? So it's a traditional club, it's a movement. And Rangers International is like Atletico Bilbao. You have Atletico Bilbao in Spain.
Yes,
Exactly.
In La Liga.
So exactly. In Atletico Bilbao, if you are not an indigene of Madrid City, you cannot play in Atletico. I think they only have 3 foreigners. You understand? So, and every young player in this southeast zone, especially in Enugu State, has this love for Enugu Rangers, and they want to play for Enugu Rangers. They want to wear their badge, and represent Enugu Rangers. And before you, it's very. I'm not trying to sound tribalistic or tribalistic. Yeah. You can see now. Come to Enugu Rangers. You will see about 60 or 50% of Enugu Rangers players, they are home-based boys. And why do we ask the management to sign more of the home-based boys? It's people that understand what Enugu Rangers is all about. People that are ready to die for the club. People that understand the badge they are putting on. So
not just people that are there for the money.
Exactly, not just for the money. They want to represent the state. They want to represent the badge. You understand? So things are beginning to take place, to take shape since Amobi Ezeaku came. It's not just Rangers, the whole sports sector, football sector in Enugu State. So from the grassroots, Amobi Ezeaku is giving 10 balls to the whole football club in Enugu. Every team will receive 10 balls, which you have started doing. This is just to encourage the grassroots team and,
Okay. I hear you talk about, you said it's a movement. You said it's ancestral. You keep, those words begin. It sounds cultic.
No.
Is it a cult? Is Rangers a cult?
No.
Okay.
I said this because of the history of Rangers.
Okay. So narrating it down to the history of Rangers.
Yeah, sure.
And you said something about letting it be the core people from, and you wanted to relate it with Atletico Bilbao, but I also know that there are some players in Rangers, like there's a man like Kazim that plays for Rangers, and other people that are not indigenes of Enugu. It's do they face any challenges, being able to mix with the fact that they are not like someone like Kazim playing for, and let me say he might or maybe he doesn't understand the language. Are there challenges like that?
No. They have been given sense of belonging. Okay. You understand? Once you are being signed to Rangers under the management of Amobi Ezeaku, you understand, they will let you understand the club. You understand? They will let you understand the history of the team. They will let you understand for you to know what you are representing. You understand? So they will lecture you, tell you what Rangers is all about. And you can see them. They are playing their hearts out. You understand? They want to die for the team. You understand? It's because they have been given the sense of belonging. So they even see themselves as Enugu boys and no longer foreigners.
All right.
So that is just the secret.
I want to bring something out. This is not trying to put words in your mouth, but I heard you mention home-based players, considering home, giving them priority in recruitment. But do you think your club has this challenge of, well, in our local parlance, IM, man no man? No. Do you think you have that challenge, or there are other challenges when it comes to recruitment that, management should put their eyes down to see that it's resolved so that the recruitment process can be effortless, right? Yeah.
Rangers is the defending champion of Nigerian Professional Premier League. Do you think if there is IM in Rangers, the Rangers could have won the league?
That's the question I'm putting to you.
Exactly. Rangers are recruiting.
Like, do they have a recruitment department or people that scout
Exactly.
for young players, or is it like, hey, hello Amobi, or hello, oh no, I have a young boy, my son needs to play in Rangers, and so you have to play him? Or do they actually take time to travel around and find out people who are good in these fields?
First of all, Rangers have a scouting team.
Okay.
You understand? And before the season begins, I mean last season, 2023-2024 season, there was an open trials. You understand? Come and show what you can do. Come and show your talent. There was an open trials for anyone that wants to play for Rangers. And that's why Rangers give room for friendly matches. If you want to play with them, you can come. If your team is said want to play with Rangers, you understand, in a friendly match, you can come. Rangers will give you a friendly match. Then you play with them. So from there, this is where they scout and pick those players they think that they are good, you understand, to play for Rangers.
Are there open trials?
Yeah, sure. Before the season will start, there will still be open trials. And you see, currently Rangers are signing some players from the MPFL teams. You understand, like some a player like Obunda from Benden Insurance, their left back. A player like Okorie Stanley from Bayelsa United. So how do they get to see those guys? Okay, when they play with those teams, you understand, after they will spot that, okay, this person is good. And this is the work of the scouting team of Rangers International. So there's nothing like IM or man no man, like you said.
So, you know, you said something about the feeder team. I'll take you back a bit before we move forward. They said the scouting team, they're not well. Are there health issues that resulted or result as a result of them not being properly taken care of?
Like I said before, football is a passion. If you're not passionate about it, then, you know, it's not a politics, it's not a political party or something like that. Amobi Ezeaku is a man that has so much passion about football. You understand? Like I said, just watch out, give him more time. He will put everything in place.
Let's talk injuries, which is a word you guys are very familiar with, guys in the sports arena. So my question is, as it concerns Rangers International, not the feeders now, although it may also concern them, when players like you get injuries, are there healthcare packages, you know, by the team or by government to ensure that their medical expenses are taken care of and they don't have to pay from out of their pocket? Are there packages to ensure that, okay, no, not you, God forbid, that you had this muscle tear? Are there packages to ensure that your medical, whatever it is that they have to administer to you, is taken care of by the team or by the government? Any of such arrangements?
Every player under Rangers International that is playing for Rangers International is under insurance. When we lost Ifeanyi George, you understand, because he was under insurance, the family was given 20 million naira.
Who was given?
The family of Ifeanyi George was given 20 million naira because he was under insurance.
Please backtrack a little. How did he get into the insurance? Is it automatic once you're a player, you're keyed into the
Rangers International,
into the scheme? You
understand? Insurance covers you.
Okay.
This player they call Kanda, like we all know, the Ugoke, Ugochukwu Ugoke, you understand? He had a knee injury, you understand? Amobi Ezeaku came back and he treated him.
From the insurance package or from his personal pocket?
He's a Rangers player now, so Rangers had to take care of him.
Okay. You
understand? But all these things depends on someone that has passion. You understand?
For what he's doing.
For what he's doing. Another person can be there and
not care.
And not, yeah, exactly. In fact, when he was not there, the boy has been injured, for 2 years until Amobi came back and said, no, you just have to take care of this ball. You understand? So once you're a Rangers player, insurance covers you.
Like,
there's no cause for alarm.
do they have a female team? Does Rangers now have a female team?
Before Amobi came into the board,
Business work for me.
we have been, cramming and, asking Rangers International to look into to have a female team.
Yeah.
You understand? And as God may have it, Amobi became the general manager. And like the Rangers male team, you understand, is the main focus. So Amobi Zako did his best, and God gave us the cup, the trophy. And today Rangers have announced their female team. So that was in partnership and collaboration with Greenfoot Ladies. Yeah. So Rangers has an official female team now as we speak.
Called what?
Greenfoot Ladies.
But I thought Greenfoot was formerly a club on its own before now.
Exactly. CAF rule says any team that will be going for either CAF Championship or Confederations Cup must have a female team or partner with an existing female team.
Okay.
So once you partner with a female team, automatically that female team has become your own. Yeah, exactly.
So what are the challenges, going up the ladder? Because, like you said, there is the feeder team, there is the main Rangers, and they're looking at playing at other clubs. I don't want to say Europe, but what are the challenges that players in this domestic field, face playing for the national team? Because you find out that most times there is a match to be played to represent Nigeria, and most of the people that are selected are people playing outside the country. So what are the challenges that the domestic players face?
I think first of all we need to work, and I would say the NFF or the league management, they need to work in developing our league, you understand, to meet up to the standard like they want. Even just like South African league, you see South African national team, 90% of their national team players are home based.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
They are home based. Likewise in Egypt, in Morocco, because they're focused more on developing their league, their local league.
Yes.
So I think we need to develop more and focus on developing our local league. So then there you can have quality players.
Yes.
You understand? Just like the former coach, not Finidi George, he said that if you are not playing in abroad and in first league, he cannot invite you to represent Nigeria. So let's develop our local league and let's see what happens.
Oh no, I'm quite curious, because, and this is a personal question, given your expertise, your experience, I'm curious as to why the male leagues and championships are always more popular than the female. Why do you think that is? Why do you think more attention is given to male teams, male championships, as against the female teams? Why do you think that is? I mean, across the sports landscape. Yeah.
Even in family, God says that man is the head of the house.
Okay.
Okay.
And
the woman is the bottom of the house.
No.
I want to be sure. If man is the head of the house, a woman has to be the bottom.
No, it's not the bottom.
Okay.
The woman supports the husband, the man.
Okay.
So before the female sports, be it football, athletics, be it table tennis, and is men have been there. You understand?
So you're saying because men came into the sports scene first, that is why they are more popular.
Okay, let me throw this question to you. You do watch male football, and female football. Which one is the most interesting?
I wouldn't know. That is why I'm throwing the question.
So, okay, for me, it depends on what you call interest. The fact that they are shouting could be my interest. You know, they kick a ball and they, oh no, don't. You know, but it depends.
But the
Shouldn't it be?
Wouldn't
you think it's because more money is pushed into one?
That's why
that's why it's more glamorous, more enticing. Have you thought in that line of?
I know that when you watch, there is fierceness when you watch a male football.
Because there's money involved.
There's intensity.
it's not
there's
just
money involved.
There's intensity, you know,
exactly.
when you watch the male football and when you watch
something has to be driving the intensity for me.
And you think it's the money?
I seriously do think so.
It's not the money.
Well, everybody has their own capacity. A woman functions in the capacity of a woman. A woman
exactly.
is,
The strength
tends
are
to
not
be
the
more
same.
fragile than that of.
I hear you.
Their physical
The intensity
It's never the same.
Never the same.
You know, people say
Makes
this
sense.
that what a man can do, a woman can do. It's absolute lie.
Exactly.
For me, what a man can do, a woman, there are things a man can do, a woman can for the life of, will never do, even if she wants to do it.
Exactly.
And there are things a woman can do, a man can never do, even if he invests all his money and the community's money on it. It will never be able to achieve it. So this disparity, that's the uniqueness that has made us, that spiced us and made life more beautiful.
Exactly. This made me to, let me answer the question now. You know, once it comes to physical exercise, you cannot match the intensity of the male, a male to the female. You understand? Their strengths are not the same, their energy are not the same. You understand?
Now you've answered the question.
That's why it looks as if that male, when it comes to sports, you understand, they focused more. You understand? Or it seems as if male, everybody wants to watch the male, you know, sports activity more of the female.
Great.
You understand?
Great.
But just like what CAF did, you understand, they want to also, you know, carry the female along. So if you don't have a female team, you cannot participate in CAF.
No,
so
that's
which
a good,
is quite commendable. Yeah.
You mentioned something about Coast City FC.
Yeah.
Are they also involved proficiently in MPFL?
No, they are in second division. That is the NNL.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so in what capacity have they been functioning? Because I hear you've mentioned Amobi like times and times again. I wanted to ask, how long does this management, for instance, you said he's a general manager, so it's a management thing. How long does his managerial management last? How long is the span of that management?
I think he signed 3 or 4 years contract. Yes, and it all depends on the governor. After his and it also depends on Amobi Ezak as well. You understand? He can wake up tomorrow and say that he wants to resign. You understand? And maybe after his first this thing, the governor can say that he wants to replace him with another person. The governor can say let him continue.
Okay, I hear you talk now, and you say the governor. So is Rangers a state-owned club?
Exactly, Rangers is a state-owned club.
So okay. Coast City is
a private-owned club.
No. Okay.
Oh.
By the man called Honorable Chuks Ago.
Okay. Okay. Onugu, you are a local. It's fine to address you as a local player, domestic player.
Yeah.
Assuming you aspire to be in the national team, what are the steps you need to take? What do you need to do to ensure that you strategically make it to the national team?
There is no, this is...
Or you just depend on chance?
Exactly. It's not a movie that you said you want to read the script. You understand? You just keep working hard, you know, one step at a time. You might be in Nigerian professional club and you go to national team. You might be in abroad, maybe in Europe, America, and you still come to the national team. You understand? But the most important thing is consistency. You understand? And you keep working hard. So so that you make sure that you're ready all the time. Once the chance comes, then you grab it. That's all.
So it's about being prepared for the opportunity.
Being prepared for the opportunity.
But you're saying the opportunity must come.
Exactly.
So
and it's not a must you be in national team.
Okay. You mentioned green foods.
Yeah.
What should we expect from green foods?
Just like what you have been seeing in the male team
Yeah.
of Rangers, you understand, Amobeza is a man that believes in both genders, you understand. So he's going to support the female team, you understand, just like the way he has been doing for the male team. Okay, so he's going to support them in all angles, understand, and I know he's going to give them the right management, the technical crew, you understand, they need. So, and experienced coaches for the female team who understand, the
dynamics.
exactly of the female.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So, Unugu, before we let you go on this very wonderful interview, I'm sure there's a young boy or a young girl out there that probably aspires to join this local team, Rangers Feathers, and the female team. What would be your advice to them?
First of all, let me give my advice to the government of this state
Good.
first.
Good.
Because if the playing ground is not level, nobody is coming to play.
Yeah.
So I think it's not just Rangers or Co City. I think the local government as well should start doing something. You understand? Football, sports stops, reduce crime. You understand? Sports reduce crime.
Can you explain that?
We can.
How
yeah.
does it reduce?
Once the youth are engaged, you understand, in sports activity, they won't have, chance to go and commit crime. You know. So I think there should also be a local government team, you understand, sponsored by local government. For example, if the 17 local governments in Enugu can have a youth team, that in each team we have 30 players, 30 times 17, you have employed 510 youths. You have engaged them. So you see, if those 510 youths wanted to involve themselves in crime because they are idle, they are doing nothing, they are not engaged, no empowerment, you see, the crime have reduced. And you are employing 10 maybe coaches, technical crew, you understand, in each local government. So you have to engage the youth. Everybody will not be a barrister, everybody will not be a nurse, everybody will not be a doctor. So it's not just about Rangers or Co City. The local government should start doing something about it.
Okay, so moving forward, what should we, in conclusion, what should the people expect from Onowu as a person?
I'm still active in playing football, and I don't just want to play football, I want to impact, I want to change the narrative, I want to tell those in power, you understand, what to do, how to help the youth. So I will do my best to represent them, to represent ENUGU youth. Even as a player, even when I decide to stop playing, you understand, I want to change the narrative. I want the sports sector to develop. I want Enugu State sports football to move to another level. So, and I'm pleading that the government should look into sports, into football, and know how we can engage our youth, how we can empower and change the narrative.
Oh.
Thank you very much, Chidera Pius.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
no.
Fondly called Onowu. He loves to be called Onowu. And so we call you Onowu, right?
Sure.
Thank you so much. It was a nice time spending this moment, this segment with you. And we hope to see more of your faces and more of Rangers, more of our domestic club, national domestic club, that it be promoted and it be seen in the light of Man City and the rest of them. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
And that's all we have for you today on New Day. It's been amazing, and I trust that you've been kicking. It's been back to back from politics. Oh, well, you've now have heard that now it's not just about just electing leaders or putting people in places of position, but it's about the person. It's not about the party, it's about the person. And on the football, we know that we're taking it to the next level with Rangers, with Aimba, with our clubs, our domestic clubs. Is another day, and so we call it a new day indeed. Until next time, it's been wonderful being with you. I'm Chomalina John.
I'm Chigi Chiagoram. It's a new day with new thoughts, new ideas, and new opportunities. Thank you for staying with us.
Thank you so much. Until next time.
Why do people evade tax? Why is it that the propensity or the tendency to evade tax is very high in Nigeria? It has to do with the social contract, the failure on the part of government, to fulfill its own part. Okay, a situation where individuals or firms provide virtually everything they need that the government ought to have provided. Okay, things like power, for example. If you're a small business, you have to bother about power. You get a generator. Water. You provide your own water. You provide your own security. You at some point too, you have to also help to do the road to your office and so on. So when you look at all these things, it does not encourage people to voluntarily say they want to pay tax, because on the part of government, they also feel the government is slacking. Government is not meeting its own responsibilities. So that is the failure of the social contract, that has been with us.
The nation in the last 20 to 30 years has been suffocated by a political class that put into primary line their own interests and that of their families. A nation that is so endowed with resources, with enough resources to ensure a comfortable life for most Nigerians, have simply turned into a nation of very few people and their own family. The level of poverty in this country, the disconnect between the government and the people who it's supposed to lead, the widening gap between the rich and the poor, the pervasive insecurity and unemployment in the country is
Welcome to Midday News on Signature TV. I'm Charles Pius. In the headlines, new British Prime Minister Starmer promises quick action in fixing the country. Kenya's Ruto announces sweeping spending cuts following violent protests. Fubara assures of his government's unwavering commitments to good governance. Nigeria shuts down 46 facilities in 10 states of the country. Details in a moment. Britain's new Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, is promising quick action in fixing the country. Not just words, but told the voters who handed him a massive electoral majority and those who voted against that improvements would take time. Standing outside his new office and residence at number 10 Downing Street, Starmer acknowledged the scale of the challenges that faced him after his party's landslide victory in a parliamentary election ended 14 years of often tumultuous Conservative government. He was greeted by huge cheers and in turn took time before making his speech to shake hands with and hug aides and well-wishers who lined Downing Street. Standing behind a lectern, he said he understood that many Britons were disillusioned with politics after years of scandal and chaos under the Conservatives, who were roundly rejected in Thursday's election, suffering a historical loss.
To thank the outgoing Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. His achievement as the first British Asian Prime Minister of our country, the extra effort that will have required should not be underestimated by anyone. And we pay tribute to that today. And we also recognise the dedication and hard work he brought to his leadership. But now our country has voted decisively for change, for national renewal, and a return of politics to public service. When the gap between the sacrifices made by people and the service they receive from politicians grows this big, it leads to a weariness in the heart of a nation, a draining away of the hope, the spirit, the belief in a better future, that we need to move forward together. Now, this wound, this lack of trust can only be healed by actions, not words. I know that. But we can make a start today with the simple acknowledgement that public service is a privilege and that your government should treat every single person in this country with respect. If you voted Labour yesterday, we will carry the responsibility of your trust as we rebuild our country. But whether you voted Labour or not, in fact, especially if you did not, I say to you directly, my government will serve you. Politics can be a force for good. We will show that. We've changed the Labour Party, returned it to service, and that is how we will govern. Country first, party second. Yet, if I'm honest, service is merely a precondition of hope, and it is surely clear to everyone that our country needs a bigger reset, a rediscovery of who we are, because no matter how fierce the storms of history, one of the great strengths of this nation has always been our ability to navigate a way to calmer waters. And yet this depends upon politicians, particularly those who stand for stability and moderation, as I do, recognizing when we must change course. For too long now, we've turned a blind eye as millions slid into greater insecurity. Nurses, builders, drivers, carers, people doing the right thing, working harder every day, recognized at moments like this before, yet as soon as the cameras stop rolling, their lives are ignored. I want to say very clearly to those people, not this time. Changing a country is not like flicking a switch. The world is now a more volatile place. This will take a while. But have no doubt that the work of change begins immediately. Have no doubt that we will rebuild Britain with wealth created in every community, our NHS back on its feet facing the future, secure borders, safer streets, everyone treated with dignity and respect at work, the opportunity of clean British power cutting your energy bills for good. And brick by brick, we will rebuild the infrastructure of opportunity, the world-class schools and colleges, the affordable homes that I know are the ingredients of hope for working people, the security that working-class families like mine can build their lives around. Because if I asked you now whether you believe that Britain will be better for your children, I know too many of you would say no. And so my government will fight every day until you believe again. From now on, you have a government unburdened by doctrine, guided only by the determination to serve your interest, to defy, quietly, those who have written our country off. You have given us a clear mandate, and we will use it to deliver change, to restore service and respect to politics, end the era of noisy performance, tread more lightly on your lives, and unite our country. 4 nations standing together again, facing down, as we have so often in our past, the challenges of an insecure world, committed to a calm and patient rebuilding. So, with respect and humility, I invite you all to join this government of service in the mission of national renewal. Our work is urgent, and we begin it today. Thank you very much. I have just returned.
The centre-left Labour won a massive majority in the 650 seats parliament, prompting Rishi Sunak's resignation on Friday morning. Labour won some 410 seats, an increase of 210, while the Conservatives, the Western world's most successful party, lost about 250 lawmakers, including a record number of senior ministers and former Prime Minister Liz Truss. Joining us from United Kingdom to speak a little more about this development is Mr. Nelson Olanipekun. He's a policy analyst. Good to have you. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Yeah.
Mr. Nelson, many thanks for joining us from the UK. Tell us a little bit about the mood of the people of the United Kingdom.
I think generally on the streets, it's not reflective of what is happening, but in conversations, when you're able to hold conversations with people, friends and families and people generally, they are really excited, and that was what translated to the post, to what you see in the poll. Essentially, the landslide is a monumental win. Labour over the years has been, power over the years has been in the hand of Conservative for 40 years. And but before that, Labour also ran the country for 13 years. So a change in power, it's more or less like a change in government for these people, for UK residents, for UK citizens, and they are hoping that all the issues affecting the economy, affecting NHS, affecting crime and justice would be resolved by Labour.
Okay, so part of the reasons why Rishi Sunak lost the election was because of rising cost of living in the United Kingdom. Are there any more reasons why Rishi Sunak lost woefully in this last elections?
Yeah, I think there's also a rising crime rate in the country. At the moment, there are lots of incidents of crime here and there. A couple of days ago, on my street, I saw series of cars buggered and vandalized, and you see different antisocial behaviors on the streets, people doing all sorts of. That is a major issue that has been a sort of concern for people over years now. The other big issue is wait time in the NHS. For you to get appointments in the NHS, it takes a long time. Sometimes it takes months. So when you compare it to Nigeria, you could get a doctor appointment within a day in Nigeria, but in the UK, it's it's been crazy. You probably want to wait for a month or thereabouts before you could get a doctor's appointment. So cutting down on the wait time, which has been one of the key promises in the Labour manifesto, is also a big thing for UK residents and citizens. So I think those issues are topical issues. The rising cost of living is also a major one. There is a significant rise cost of living in the UK. I know it's a global thing, but the issue, it's really affecting people's livelihood and standard of living. You would notice that the cost of living is rising much faster than the wage in the UK. And that has really also increased the crime rates and also increased the level of standard of living for people in the UK.
Oh, okay, I do not know whether you have looked at the document as it relates to the Labour Party. What do you think is the posturing of the new Prime Minister with the African continent, specifically with Nigeria? Do you think that specifically there will be some policies that will be changed directly affecting Africa and then Nigeria?
So it's really difficult to say at this moment because of the situation. The government is a new one. However, some things have really jumped out at me when I look at the manifesto and the document. One thing is that UK is positioning itself in terms of immigration to supporting countries that their citizens emigrate to the UK, to supporting that they maintain peace and security in their country. So country facing insecurity, countries facing issues, the part of the Labour's manifesto is to support them so that people would not necessarily have to immigrate to the UK. And in the African continent, you see a lot of that insecurity issues here and there within the African region. And their foreign policy seems to favor peace and security in that right. Also, one thing that I think will be of interest is also the larger immigration policy. The controversial Rwanda relocation program for asylum seekers and refugees have been put on hold and have been cancelled by the present Labour Party union in the Labour Party in the UK. And this is really a big win for people that are trying to seek asylum and refugee status in the UK. So cancelling that is a big win for all the people that have moved against that over time. Then also, there will be the increase in the appointment and employment of NHS worker would also see that there is a potential opportunities for African continents that want to explore their career beyond the shores of Africa. But that also asks the question, what about the death of healthcare workers in Africa? Will they be emigrating into the UK and leaving a death of healthcare workers in Africa? So those are some of the issues that might also come from the recruitment of NHS worker globally. But beyond that, I feel like the Labour Party is a new government. In the next couple of months, the foreign policy is going to evolve, and we're going to see the direction of the government. However, the following thing is clear, that they've cancelled the Rwanda relocation program. The NHS wait time will be cut by half. There will be a serious clampdown on antisocial behavior. And also, specifically for African continent, the security posture and support for people that might be experiencing insecurity in Africa is a big one. I feel countries in Africa can tap into just to ensure that the continent is safer.
All right. Mr. Nelson Olanipekun, all the way from the United Kingdom, many thanks for your time. We truly appreciate you. I would have loved to continue this conversation because I actually wanted to find out what the similarities would be, given that United States elections are underway sometime in November, whether this would in any way affect the U.S. elections. But because of time, we just have to go. Many thanks for your time. We truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
And continuing on the news this afternoon, the Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 elections, Peter Obi, congratulated the new British Prime Minister Keir Starmer on his historic victory and that of his Labour Party in Thursday's parliamentary elections in the United Kingdom. The former governor of Anambra State, who congratulated Starmer on his X handle, expressed hope that the new Prime Minister would follow his campaign promises that made voters look his way. The victory, he said, should translate to a better and new chapter for all the UK residents as he remains committed to his historical promises. Obi told the new Prime Minister to promote stronger ties between the UK and Nigeria and help in deepening Nigeria's democracy, especially during these challenging times. Nigeria, according to him, can greatly benefit from the support of the UK in grappling with issues such as insecurity, education, healthcare and poverty. Kenyan President William Ruto announced sweeping spending cuts on Friday, including slashing the government's advisory staff by half and dissolving 47 state corporations as he seeks to plug a $2.7 billion hole in the budget after withdrawing a controversial tax hike that sparked nationwide protests. The cuts outlined by Ruto will reduce government expenditure by 177 billion Kenyan shillings, that's around $1.4 billion, in the current fiscal year that started on July 1st. The remaining gap of 169 billion shillings will be covered through increased borrowing, raising Kenya's fiscal deficit to 4.6% of GDP from a targeted 3.3%. Among the austerity measures, Ruto said 47 state corporations with overlapping functions would be dissolved and their cooperation integrated into ministries. Public servants who turn 60 will be required to immediately retire with no extensions. The president also announced suspending the purchase of new government vehicles for 12 months, except for security agencies, as well as halting non-essential travel by state officials. Budget lines for the offices of the First Lady, Deputy President's spouse, and Prime Cabinet Secretary will be removed.
47 state corporations with overlapping and duplicating functions will be dissolved, resulting in the elimination of their operational and maintenance costs, and their functions will be integrated into the respective line ministries. The number of advisors in government shall be reduced by 50% within the public service with immediate effect. Budget lines providing for the operations of the office of the First Lady, the spouse of the Deputy President, and the Prime Cabinet Secretary will be removed. Public servants who attain the retirement age of 60 shall be required to immediately proceed on retirement with no extensions to their tenure of service whatsoever. The purchase of new motor vehicles by the government is suspended for 12 months, except for security agencies, while a new policy on transport for public officers will be developed. All non-essential travel by state and public officers is hereby suspended. I have today appointed an independent task force to carry out a comprehensive forensic audit of our public debt and report to us in the next 3 months. I believe these changes will set out our country on a trajectory towards economic transformation, enabling us to achieve the strategic objectives of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda and deliver our commitment to radically enhance opportunities for all Kenyans and transform our country.
The Slovak Prime Minister, Robert Fico, made his first appearance in public on Friday for the first time since a May assassination attempt, railing in a speech against progressive ideologies and backing Hungarian leader Viktor Orban's visit to Moscow. Robert Fico, who is a four-time leftist prime minister, returns to power after winning an election last September, was shot 4 times at close range in mid-May when he greeted supporters at a government meeting in the central Slovak town of Handlova, leaving him needing hours of surgery. Fico, who is recovering, made his appearance at an evening ceremony marking St. Cyril and Methodios Day, a public holiday in Slovakia. He spoke standing at a podium at a castle ruins dating back over 11 centuries. The attack has deepened the polarization in the Central European country of 5.4 million. Fico's leftist nationalist government has quickly shifted policy since taking power last year, including changing some criminal laws and cancelling a special prosecutor's office, transforming the public broadcaster, and halting state military aid to Ukraine. Opposition parties have battled Fico's government over the changes, while the European Union has watched for any damage to rule of law or media freedoms. In a video message posted on Facebook in early June, Fico had called his attacker an opposition activist, but said he felt no hatred towards him and would not seek damages. His attacker, a man identified by prosecutors as 71-year-old Juraj C., was detained and charged with attempted premeditated murder The detained man, according to court documents, said he had wanted to hurt the Prime Minister but not kill him because he disagreed with the government's policies. Fico has faced criticism for views leaning towards Russia, while his foreign minister has met his Russian counterpart despite EU officials avoiding high-level meetings with Moscow. Fico, in his first live speech since the attack, reiterated a call for peace talks in the Ukraine-Russia conflict and said he would have joined Orban on his visit to Moscow if health allowed. The Russian Defense Ministry said on Friday that Russian forces have carried out 23 group strikes with high-precision weapons, an attack on manned aerial vehicles on airfields, energy facilities and fuel storages facilities over the past week, while Ukraine said its forces repelled multiple attacks launched by the Russian side. Russian troops continued to advance on the front lines, taking control of several settlements in the Kharkiv region in northeastern Ukraine and the Donetsk region in eastern Ukraine. The Defense Ministry said in its weekly report on fightings from June 29th to July 5th. Over the week, the Russian air defense systems shot down 2 MiG-29 and 1 Su-27 aircraft on Ukrainian Air Force, as well as 451 UAVs. The Black Sea fleets destroyed 3 unmanned boats of the Ukrainian Navy, according to the reports. Also on Friday, the General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces reported that the Russian army continued to intensify its offensive operations, with 84 battles occurred on the entire front line. In the direction of Kharkiv, the Ukrainian army repelled 2 Russian attacks and 2 more battles continued. In Pokrovsk, in eastern Ukraine, Ukrainian forces repelled 17 Russian attacks, with 12 more battles still in progress. Chinese President Xi Jinping left Dushanbe, Tajikistan on early Saturday after wrapping up his state visit to the Central Asian country. The visit saw the two countries elevate their ties to comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership in a new era. Tajik President Emomali Rahmon bid farewell to Xi at the airport, leading other officials including Chairman of the National Assembly of Tajikistan and Mayor of Dushanbe, Rostam Emomali, as well as Tajik Foreign Minister Sirojidin Muhriddin. During the visits, Rahmon presented to Xi a precious photo album of his 3 visits to Tajikistan since 2014 and once again warmly congratulated Xi on his successful historic state visits to Tajikistan. Xi pointed out that the historic meeting between the two heads of states during his visit will lead to the development of China-Tajikistan comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership in a new era for a long time to come, adding that he would like to work with President Rahmon to continue pushing for an even better and brighter future for China-Tajikistan relations. On the way to the airport, local overseas Chinese and representatives of Chinese-funded institutions waved the national flags of China and Tajikistan on both sides of the road, congratulating Xi on the complete success of his state visit. On Friday evening, Xi had a cordial and friendly chat over tea with Rahmon in Dushanbe. Meanwhile, local authorities say 5 persons have died and 88 injured after a tornado struck Dongming County of East China's Shandong province on Friday. According to the country's Emergency Management Bureau, the tornado hit the county seats, Xiaoyuji Township and Shawo Township at approximately 2:30 p.m. The tornado also caused some buildings to collapse in a factory in Dongming, but no one was hurt. Those who were injured were sent to hospitals for treatment. An investigation into the damage caused by the tornado is underway. According to the Provincial Emergency Management Department, a tornado occurred in Shandong's Yinyang County on Thursday with no casualties reported. According to the data with the National Climate Center, Shandong averages 1.5 tornadoes every year. Still to come, police arrest 4 suspected vandals of TCN infrastructure in Kaduna. Join us after the break. Welcome back. You're watching Signature TV News. ECOWAS foreign ministers under the aegis of ECOWAS Council of Ministers on Friday pledged to intensify integration and anti-terrorism efforts towards achieving prosperity, peace and security in the sub-region. Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Chairman of the Council, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, made the pledge at the end of a two-day 92nd session of the Council in Abuja. He lauded the participants for their contributions, which he said had resulted in the success being recorded since the session started from July 4th to 5th, 2024. Yusuf said the outcome of the meeting will form the basis for a more far-reaching decision by the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government during their next summit. Tuga emphasized that the depth of analysis and the partnership displayed during the session was truly exemplary. Rivers State Governor Similaye Fubara has assured the people of the state of unwavering commitment to providing critical infrastructure required for the speedy development of the state. Fubara gave the assurance while speaking to newsmen after the inspection of the reconstruction work at the zonal hospital in Bori Town, Kana local government area. He stated that the hospitals, when completed, would meet the healthcare needs of the people within the catchment areas and address key issues in line with the sustainable development goals and the policy objectives of his administration. Fubara said that there was no cause to worry over the recent pronouncements of the appeal court. He also expressed satisfaction with the progress of work done so far by the contractor and urged the construction firm to deliver quality job and on time. The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, says the police command in Kaduna State has arrested 4 suspected vandals who were caught destroying transmission towers installed in some parts of the state. TCN's General Manager, Public Affairs in Didimba, disclosed this in a statement in Abuja on Friday. He said that among the instruments recovered from them were shovels and diggers. She appreciated the police efforts and assured its continued collaboration with security operatives in safeguarding transmission infrastructure nationwide. The Imo Command of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, on Friday handed over a prison escapee rearrested by the Corps to the Nigerian Correctional Service, NCOS. The State Commandant of the NSCDC, Matthew Ovie, handed over 28-year-old suspect Chinonso Kalu shortly after parading him and one other in Owerri. He said that Kalu was caught after he was seen jumping a fence shortly after allegedly robbing some passerby of their valuables, and after their investigation they discovered that the suspect was one of the prisoners who took advantage of the April 5, 2021 jailbreak in Owerri to escape from the facility. An Inspector of Corrections, Kasmir Obiozo, who received the escapee on behalf of the NCOS, said he would be officially documented before other appropriate actions. Ovie further spoke on the arrest of the second suspect, 31-year-old Israel Akinrebide, who was arrested in the same complex as Kalu on May 12th, shortly after some young men jumped into the premises of the office of the secretary to the state government. He said that the suspect would be prosecuted accordingly. Ovie thanked other security agencies in the state for their continued synergy and pledged the NSCDC's commitment to the protection of critical government infrastructure in line with their mandate. He also thanked Governor Hope Uzodinma for his continued support to the Corps and advised residents of the state not to stay out late at night, especially in lonesome environments, to avoid falling victim to criminals. The Police Public Relations Officer, SP William Anya, confirmed the robbery and shooting of a Federal Road Safety Corps FRSC officer in Lokoja. Williams said the incident occurred at exactly 1:30 p.m. at Lokogoma, Phase 1 in Lokoja. The officers received a distress call and rushed to the scene where they met Abu, an FRSC officer in a pool of his blood, having been shot at both legs and shoulder. He was coming from a bank when an ash-colored Toyota Camry car crossed and blocked him in front and disposed him of unspecified sum of money. He said the Commissioner of Police in the states, Bertrand Onoha, had deployed officers on the trail of the suspect with a view to arrest and bring them to justice. Meanwhile, an eyewitness account by residents said the FRSC officer was heading towards his house at Zango Daji in Lokoja on a motorcycle when the incident happened. He said that the gunmen fired several shots at the victim, who was dragging a bag with them before dispossessing them of his money. The National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency, NESRA, have sealed 46 facilities in 10 states of the Federation for various forms of environmental violations. The Assistant Director of NESRA, Amaka Ejiofor, stated this in a statement on Friday in Abuja. Amaka said the enforcement exercise was carried out in Borno, Gombe, Ogun, Enugu, Edo, Osun, Oyo, Plateau, Nasarawa, and Taraba State. Amaka explained that the facilities were shut down for refusing to comply with the provisions of the National Environmental Regulations. Ejiofor revealed in the statements that the Director General of NESRA, Innocent Bariko, expressed displeasure over the non-compliance status of many facilities, warning that the trend was unhealthy for the health of the citizens and the environment. Still to come, tricycle operators frown at restriction of members' operation. Join us after the break. Students of public junior secondary schools from Kwara, Katsina, and Benue states have won trophies for Nigeria in 3 foreign debate competitions held respectively in Indonesia, Singapore, and Dubai. The Minister of State for Education, Dr. Yusuf Sununu, was presented with the trophies on Friday in Abuja by Usman Mohammed, the Chairman, National Advisory Board of President's School Debates of Nigeria. Receiving the trophies, Sununu commended the giant stride and resilience of the students while urging them to sustain the tempo. The minister called for the resuscitation of debate club in schools to foster excellent communication and critical thinking among students. The minister advised the convener of the school's debate competition to come up with a debatable topic on ways to help address the out-of-school children issues of the country. He called on the students to serve as role models for the numerous out-of-school children so that they could see the need to return to school. Mohammed also commended state governors for sponsoring the students to leave the shores of the country for the competitions. He also pleaded with well-meaning Nigerians and private sectors to also come up and identify students for sponsorship to such competitions. The police command in Delta State has confirmed the derailment of the train plying the Warri-Itakpe route, but said that no casualties were recorded. The spokesman for the command, SP Bright Edafe, confirmed the incident in a cell phone interaction with newsmen in Warri on Friday. The train was traveling from Itakpe in Kogi to Ojevu in Delta when one of the coaches derailed from the rail track very close to the Abraka train station. Edafe stated that some passengers jumped through the doors while the train was slowing down movement and sustained minor injuries. The Nigerian Society of Engineers, NSE, on Friday sought partnership with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security to harness opportunities to boost food security. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, made this disclosure when the NSE President, Mrs. Margaret Oguntala, led the delegation to visit him in Abuja. Kyari said that the ministry was elated to partner NSE as the country's frontline professional body on initiatives to boost food security in Nigeria. Kyari emphasized that some occurrences like the pandemic, perennial flooding, insecurity, and the currency redesign, which stifled money circulation, forced food production to nosedive. The minister, however, said that the partnership with NSE would help in exploring the initiatives presented to him by NSE to boost food production. According to the NSE President, Margaret, food security is essential for growth, poverty reduction, and human well-being. Margaret stated that the entire idea required pragmatic and proactive measures, hence the need for both NSE and the ministry to work together to address the challenges. She reiterated her organization's commitment to supporting food security initiatives in the country and the ministry to deliver on its mandate to increase food production. Margaret also informed the Minister of the Society's upcoming 2024 International Engineering Conference, Exhibition and Annual General Meeting holding on November 18th with the theme Sustainable Engineering Solutions to Food Security and Climate Change. She said the theme was carefully chosen to align with the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Tinubu and the determination of his administration to ensure food security in the country. Some tricycle operators in Aba have called on Governor Alex Oti of Abia State to find another means of checking crimes instead of imposing restrictions on the operators' activities in the state. The operators, in an interview with the newsmen in Aba on Friday, said that the restriction would affect their daily activities. The Abia State government has postponed its plan of restricting tricycle and motorcycle operations in the state from July 1st to August 1st between 7 p.m. and 6 a.m. A tricyclist operating within the metropolis of Aba commended the government but urged them to collaborate with the security agencies in the state to fight crime. Also, a driver who operates from Aba Park to Oboha said that the restriction would increase crime at the park access in the evening hours. He urged the government to ensure robust security at the strategic areas of Aba and Umuahia before going on with the restriction. And elsewhere, the federal government, under the National Agricultural Growth Scheme and Agro Pocket initiatives, has distributed farm inputs to 1,500 dry season farmers in Bauchi State. The state coordinator, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Daniel Abashi, confirmed this in an interview on Friday in Bauchi. Abashi said the distribution of essential farm inputs to dry season farmers across the 20 local government areas was aimed at bolstering agricultural productivity. According to him, the allocation of resources is designed to enhance soil fertility, mitigate pest and weeds pressures, and promote sustainable agricultural practices among the farmers. Abashi said that the state government officials oversaw the meticulous execution of the distribution. He said that coordinated efforts were directed towards ensuring smooth logistics to ensure even distribution of the inputs to farmers in all local government areas. Abashi said that the improved access to fertilizers would enhance crop yields, particularly during the dry season when natural soil nutrients were depleted. The defeats for Portugal at the European Championship on Friday likely brought down the curtain on the extraordinary international career of Cristiano Ronaldo, while Portugal's totemic forwards has made no pronouncements on his future with the national team. The 39-year-old struggled to revive former glories at the tournament in Germany and departed Euro 2024 without scoring apart from his shootout. Portugal lost 5-3 to France on penalties in their quarter-final after a goalless stalemate in which Ronaldo missed a glaring chance in extra time but converted one of the kicks in the shootout. There will forever be debates about where he sits among the greatest footballers, in or behind the exalted company of 3-time World Cup winner Pelé, or the extraordinary talent of Diego Maradona or longtime rival Lionel Messi. All of them won the World Cup, which Ronaldo has not, but in terms of statistics in national team colors, the 39-year-old is out there on his own. Friday's loss to France at the Volkspark Stadium was Ronaldo's 212th cap, significantly ahead of Messi, who won his 185 for Argentina against Ecuador in the Copa America on Thursday. Ronaldo's 130 goals for his country is also way out on its own at the head of his most scored in international football, with Messi recently moving second on the list with 108. In terms of longevity, few can match Ronaldo, who debuted for Portugal in 2003. By the next year, he was a regular for Portugal as they hosted Euro 2004, upsets in the final by Greece. And that's the news this hour. I'm Charles Spies. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.
The nation in the last 20 to 30 years has been suffocated by a political class that put into primary line their own interests and that of their families. A nation that is so endowed with resources, with enough resources to ensure a comfortable life for most Nigerians, have simply turned into a nation of very few people